digital.
Cowboys, baby.
Hey everybody, Gamer Edie here from Gamehounds, and I am here at PAX 2009, and with me is, well, we'll start with the moderator introductions.
I'm Alex Shaw from the Digital Cowboys.
And this other guy over here to my right, that's Jonathan Coulton.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Coulton.
So, you are here every PAX. How many PAXs has this been for you?
It's actually only my third. It was 2007 when I first started coming. But it's awesome. I love it.
What brings you back? What's the thing that because you go to a lot of different events and you also have a very busy tour schedule. What brings you back to PAX?
Well, you know, one thing is that it's just it really is about fans of stuff in a way that a lot of other events are not. You know, I mean, in particular in the world of games, you know, you compare this to something like E3. Which is so much more a trade show, you know, and this is much more about people dressing up in costumes and playing video games. You know, it's just fun. It's about having fun, and everybody's always very nice, and you know, on top of that, it's the biggest audience that I play for. You know, they have this enormous room and this big sound system, and it's, you know, I don't know how many thousands of people, 5,000, 8,000 people. It's huge. So it's a lot
and you're by yourself this year. You know, last year I remember Felicia Day was with you as a singer to help you along with the Portal song and others. Yes,
she sang "Still Alive" with me, which was nice. I thought there was a nice collision of geek themes. And this year, I have some friends named Paul and Storm who are singer-songwriters who are doing their own set, but I tour frequently with them, so they're going to join me for a couple of songs as well. So I won't be all alone.
Yeah, I actually saw Paul and Storm open for you at San Francisco's Great American Music Hall just a few months ago, I guess it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How did you find, or you guess you three? Meet up, because you seem to work very well together with not only your audience but your genre.
We do. We met on the internet. You know, they I think it was after my cover of Sir Mix-a-Lot's "Baby Got Back" was out there floating around, and you know, they sent me an email and said, "Hey, we're kind of doing some similar stuff," and we exchanged CDs, and I love their stuff and they love my stuff, and you know, we decided to start doing a couple of shows together, and it just has worked out so well that we've kept doing it.
And as I recall from what you said, or maybe it was they said during that show, is that you were also competing against each other in a songwriting contest, right?
That's right. It was called Song Fu, and it was our friend Ken Plume, the songwriting contest that he was running, and he would choose sometimes very ridiculous requirements for a song, or sometimes very generic and just open-ended. But yeah, we were. It was like Iron Chef for songwriting, and Paul and Storm and I and some other people were masters. We were the master songwriters, and so the general populace could compete against us, and it was interesting. It's always interesting to be forced to write a song about something, because you end up writing about something that you wouldn't otherwise choose to write about.
So you started, go way back in the Wayback Machine. You started your life really not as a songwriter, singer, entertainer. You started as a cubicle dweller, right?
Yes, that was the job that I ended up falling into, the career that I ended up falling into when I became a grown-up.
What did you do? Who were you working for?
I wrote software for a small firm in Manhattan. We made database software for executive recruiting firms. Yeah. I know. It was a fun job and a fun bunch of people, and I was never really a great coder. I was pretty good, but not terrific. But it was nice. I got to learn something new every day, and it wasn't as terrible as it could have been. But it didn't mean that I wasn't thinking of other things the whole time. So.
And then where did the idea of a thing a week come from?
It was actually a coworker of mine at that job. After I had announced to everybody that I was leaving, and I was staying there for another month or something. A a friend of mine that I worked with said, what are you going to do with all your free time? And I said, quite honestly, well, I don't really know. And he said, you should write a new song every week. And I said, well, you can't. That's impossible. Nobody could do that. But then, of course, once I got out of there, I did have a lot of free time. And, it seemed important to at least pretend it was a job. Pretend I had a job as a songwriter, since that was my declared intention. So I started doing it. I wasn't sure it was going to last for a year, but, by the time I had gotten through maybe 10 or 15 songs, it seemed like something that was possible.
What did you learn by, obviously, it's kind of like, I can only take it from a writer's point of view because I'm a writer, is that when you force yourself to write at that kind of breakneck speed and just do it, not just get yourself mired down in the self-questioning, the self-doubt. When you have set timeline, you kind of just force yourself to kind of reach a little bit farther. And the more you do it, the more you learn how to do it. What did that first thing a week really make a difference in the kind of songwriter that you ended up being?
Yeah, I think it did. When I started, I had a number of ideas that were sort of ready-made. Stuff would occur to me, I'd write it down, and then when I started this, I had that notebook, and so I would flesh those things out, and that was great. And then, that lasted for a while, and then I had nothing. I had a completely blank slate, which is sort of terrifying.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the really scary part.
But that's also when it started to get really interesting, And looking back, it was sort of an excruciating process because there were many weeks that I hated what I was doing, and I knew that I just didn't have the time to make it as good as I wanted to make it. But I had to finish it, But frequently, the ideas that I was forced to write into songs that seemed crazy actually worked out very well, and I never would have chosen to follow them through. There's a song called Mr. Fancy Pants.
Oh, yeah.
That is, I can't even explain what it's about. I'm not even sure.
In fact, the first time that I heard you explain it was at the Great American Music Hall, and I was like, that's what it's about?
I know, it's not
or did you just pull that out of your ass?
It's not about anything. You know what it is? It's about the sonorous relationship between the word fancy and pants.
Right.
That's really what the song is about. And I had this in my head, Mr. Fancy Pants, fancy, chancy, fancy, fancy pants. It was going around in my head. And I had nothing else that week, and I was like, okay, I guess that's the song. And so I made up this story about a guy named Mr. Fancy Pants who has very fancy pants. Ridiculous. I don't even want to say it all the way through. It's crazy. It's nonsense, but it ended up being a very catchy song. And it's kind of, it's to me, it's an interesting piece of art. It's only like 1 minute and 15 seconds long. It's this really compact piece of meaningless pop stuff, and it's fun, and it's never in a million years would I have done that. I would have just sort of let that idea fall away. And
now you can go on YouTube and you can see elementary school choirs.
I saw that, yeah.
I thought that was just so brilliant.
My favorite thing about that was when I do that song, I do this live remix with this sample triggering device.
By the way, what is that device called? Because my husband is a sound engineer, and I looked at him and he looked at me and he goes, I don't know what it is, but it's really cool.
It's called a Zen drum. It's a very boutique-y gadget. And it's just a bunch of MIDI triggers on a pad. It's meant for drummers, really, but...
Yeah, he's a drummer. That's why he's like, hey, what's that?
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. But, so, yeah, the video you're talking about is a woman who conducted her children's choir through a remix. So she had various hand signals that meant various phrases, and she would sort of trigger them. I have no idea what their parents must have thought at that point.
Oh, they're little kids. Anything they do, they think it's
right?
cute.
Yeah.
Right.